Alright guys, for modularization here, I'm going to show you how to make a quick arch. It's actually not that hard, and there's multiple ways to approach this. What we're going to do is use the Boolean method in Maya. I know some 3D people will be like, no, but now currently it's not as bad as it looks or seems. You just have to make sure you have clean geometry. You don't have a lot of history in your models, otherwise it's really going to rape and pillage your model. To quote a Viking term. Alright, so I'm going to go over here and go to right click. I'm going to faces here. I'm going to remove any erroneous and extra faces to keep this guy nice and straight across. I'm going to delete that for a second. And now at this point, if I wanted to, I could cap him out. So it's actually not that hard. We do have a edge right there in the middle. And I can show you how we can cap that off real quick. Excuse me. Sorry about that. You go to the 5 key here. We're going to go to append polygon tool. And the append polygon tool, when you first click, will tell you what direction it's going to be built. And we can append this really quickly. And we'll do it again. You can also hit the G key to get that tool to be reactivated. I'm going to hit enter. And there we go. We have that split. And we can actually turn that into an arch, believe it or not. Simply by grabbing the faces here. I don't have my backface culling on. You do want to use paint selected when you can, but I trust my clicking. Although I did check. Da, da, da. I don't trust myself. So let's go and click on extrude. Let's pull that guy out. And I'm now going to grab him and I'm going to rotate his whole system here. Oh, make sure I grab the correct line, which would be the J. Keep my finger on the J key. Hit the W key and try to get back in that habit. Sometimes I get lazy and I don't like using my other hands. I just simply work with one hand. That can actually make your arms pretty darn tired though after a while. Let me scale this down just a little bit. Scale them on our x-axis a little bit more. I keep saying components for there was some sort of error that I ran into. It's looking for these components to evaluate for effects that I was working on. I don't know why it's being stupid. All right, so we're going to go in here and divide this up a little bit. I'm going to go to we could do 4, I think would be realistic. And see if we can do 4 here too. Oh, I don't want to do it on that. Always get my angles mixed up here. Oh, just 1, buddy, just 1. We'll do 4 up here. There we go. 4 across. And the reason why I'm evenly dividing this up, so when I do decide to triangulate and clean this up, it'll be a little bit easier because I have these edges already defined. I'm going to remove all these faces after I'm done running the Boolean. But you'll be able to see the interior, and this is why it's thick on both sides. You'll see a nice thick area, and there's face on both sides. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to edit it, and it's actually not that hard. And you'll see me do this in my gun tutorial, and but I just wanted to relate it to geometry. And it's always easier to try to line it up with the existing edge, and there's multiple ways to do that. In our case, what we could do is hit insert, keep my finger on the V key, snap that to the very top. So a little logic, pretty much just logical on this, and just line it up right there, bring it down, and know it's right on that edge, and pull it in. And believe it or not, lining that particular one up is actually can be a little bit easier for you, so you can know your guy's right in the middle. So he's actually pretty darn close to the middle here. I didn't really change the width on the Z axis, so he's pretty straight up forward. All right, so now I'm going to go and build my arch. Now for Boolean, there's multiple ways to tackle this. I can grab this guy first and grab this guy. This all depends on the results that you want. What we're going to do is look at difference. So I can pull up the options. You notice there's not a lot to write home about, but we can hit apply. If you have colors, it will change it. So you can see if I grab this guy first, then the object we have a cut into. So we're going to change our selection this time and see what that does. We'll grab this guy first and shift select this guy. And this all depends, again, like I said, what you want. And we'll do difference again. And there we go. We have a cut into our environment. Now, is that nasty looking? Yes. It's kind of messy, not lined up. So don't panic, though. We can go in here and go to face mode and grab all these faces here. And I'm going to delete them. And I'm going to grab all these faces here. I'm going to delete them. And any little small erroneous ones. Grab all these faces here, delete them. Believe it or not, what I'm doing is going to make it so it's a little cleaner of an archway. Grab these faces here and delete them. So those are deleted. Let me get rid of the last few remnants. There we go. So we have this guy broken up, and the faces are ready. We can rebuild this and do it pretty efficiently. So we lined up the top and bottom. Believe it or not, again, that is going to make your life easy. You go to Append Polygon tool. So now if I want to, I can append these guys. I hit enter. You have to click once and twice. Now you can't hit Control Z when you're in the middle of append. If you watched my video on that, when it came to the gun stuff, hit enter. Hit the G key to reactivate the tool again. Now you'll notice it's a lot cleaner archway. So we don't have chaos everywhere. Just by me doing this, makes things a little bit cleaner. Hit the G key to repeat the last process and makes it so that I can build this a lot faster without my art director yelling at me. So pretty sweet. For a long time, other programs did not have this append polygon tool. Me and my buddy, when we worked at Interplay, used to laugh at those puny little Max guys. But at the same time, we ended up using Max stuff for our own projects. Because, or not own projects, but for other tasks. Because Max is pretty darn cool. So you can see, hit the G key, I can fill in the triangle. And there's going to be some triangulation. I don't care what anybody tells you in games, you're going to have some triangulation, because if you have to cut corners and lose polys, it's going to be triangulated ahead of time. It's going to be triangulated anyway when it's exported. That's just life. We could even move this edge to go this way if we wanted to. We don't even have to have it that way, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I can actually move that, this, and this. So you can build this multiple ways, whatever's most efficient. But you do want to try to avoid thin polygons when you can. See what I did? See what I did right there? Okay. So we go over here and we can build that out again. And you can build it multiple ways. Now that would be an irregular quad. But I can also go here and go here and do the same thing I did just a second ago. Hit the G key. Doop, doop, build it, enter. G key, repeat the last process. Boom, boom. Look at that. So there's multiple ways to do this. And again, having less thin polygons sometimes are pretty helpful. Because in some engines, not all engines, even Unreal can have a problem with this sometimes. You can get some flickering. And a lot of times that just depends on your graphics card, where that graphics card is at. It looks like we have some unusual geo results here, because that shouldn't be a point there. Let's check if there was an unneeded vertex there. Ah, there was. This will happen sometimes with booleans. You're like, gosh, you boolean. Not that hard of a deal. We can go in here and use our split, interactive split tool. Some of you guys might like the old one. It's up to you. Let's double click on it and change his parameters. I'm going to reset the tool real quick, because the default should work just fine. There we go. Enter. I had it changed when I was modeling a robot. I may even show you guys how I modeled him. Make another tutorial on him. He's actually going to be amazing. And now that we got this stuff going on, we can now finish our append polygon, and we can also split this a little bit, because this looks like it kind of needs to be split a little bit. And I enter and give ourselves some more variable stuff here. Now, if you're afraid that you're not going to have the right edges as you split this, because you'll notice they're not all one whole, you can wait to do it later and reconstruct it, or you can also do the slice tool. I'm using a Max term. It is, let me find out where he's at. I don't use him all the time. I know I used him before. Okay. Where is that guy here? He is our slicer. That is, again, the Max term for him. It's a cut. There we go. Cut, 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 cut. Where's cut? Cut, 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 cut. There we go. Cut faces tool. Now this guy is kind of cool. Keep your finger on the shift key, and he's not sliced. That's 3D Studio Max. But this allows me to make an instant cut all the way across if I wanted, which is kind of cool. So if you did want to do it all up front, you can just literally, and we probably need to, go and split that right there. There we go. Split that up. And then now we can actually add some more append polygon. Pretty cool. I like it. I just get my finger on the shift key again to get that to work correctly. I could probably make one more down here. We're not going to worry about it. Let's go and finish up this guy. Again, let's go to our append polygon. I don't think he's on this. He's on my other custom shelf, but that's fine here. So let's go ahead and do it. Make a top and click here. And I'm going to click here if I want to, or watch this. I'm going to hit delete for a second. I can also click here and just simply click there to get that sharp angle. Look at that. Wow, that's crazy talk. I don't know about you guys, but I'm impressed by my clicking. It's quite amazing. I spent years, almost 20 years in the industry, to master clicking. Don't tell my parents. All right, so we go over here. We can grab another one. Hit the G. Actually, I already got it active. We're going to click here, and then if we want to, we can click over here, and we can divide this up. It'll be a regular quad. Up to you. Let's look at this strategically. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll work from the bottom and the top and then meet in the middle because it's just easier to get it to become a lot more cleaner and make it symmetrical. So I can follow my steps. I don't know about you guys. Sometimes I get a little confused with the steps. Looks like we got another weird point that shows up. And again, this is why Boolean sometimes is a little bit of a pain in the butt. But this is not as difficult as it looks. I can go in here and grab this guy and grab the opposing one. If I wanted to, I could add more to it, but I'm not. And we'll just go in here again, delete edge vertex. And if I want to keep that, Control Shift left click, and I can put that up here. Boop. And it gets rid of that. So now I have it on my custom shelf. Looks like we got another one. Or I can just literally delete it. He doesn't really have a vertex to mess with. So we can physically go in here and just be jerks and kill him. Let's see if there's anything else lingering around. We got a little bit here. Did the same thing. There's another one here. Did the same thing. So it doesn't cause you any more trouble. Again, a lot of times you will have to do a little quick inspection. It just doesn't happen all the time. But if it's a complex geometry or semi-complex, this one's a little bit complex in the fact that it's one's arch versus one's square. And Maya can get a little bit confused. So there's another one we have to deal with, and he is gone. I banish you to the land of shut your face. And there's another one there. Another one there. Yes, again, my lectures are this goofy. Teach at the Academy of Arts and at the Art Institute, both part-time when I can. Shh, don't tell my bosses. All right, so we got this here all set up. So look at this one. The way I set this one up, this is actually make a nice type of arrow. This is actually going to be pretty nice, pretty clean, not really thin triangles. Again, you don't have to worry about them so much. It kind of all depends on the engine you're working with. So if I want to, I can make it wider and come in, which isn't too bad. Or I'll do it on the other side. I can go in here, click here, and let's see if we can get the opposing shape going. Let me delete that twice for a second. And let me see here. Trying to vision it within my mind. Here and here. You can also go down in this direction if you wanted to. Alright. So let's keep this guy for now. Actually, I kind of like that. I was going to do like the little triangle point, but I kind of like that. That looks kind of cool. Go over here and hit enter. Because we do have a quad right here. It's actually kind of nice. G and I said hit the G key, jerk face. So the guy doesn't want to do that. Hit enter. Hit the G key. Oh, wow. G key doesn't seem to be... I'm hitting the G key, not the delete key. So shut your face, Maya. We'll try that one more time. Enter. Hit the G key. Yeah, it keeps thinking edges have been selected for delete. I'm not really sure what the problem is. Might have to just reboot to get my G key to work. Apparently it does not work. Caps lock is not on. No. Alright, so we click here. And then if I want to, I can click on that for a harder edge. Notice, go across, you get a solid. Go to an angle, you can get a triangle type of shape. Just want to make sure I point that out to you guys. Now, again, we can cut this one more time if we wanted to. We're not going to in this case. We can leave it wide open. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. So we'll go ahead and click here. And I'm going to click here. Enter. And I hit the G key. Let's see if it works. Oh, sorry, force a habit. Click here. And click here. Hit enter. Check my edges and where I'm at. This won't be too hard. And I keep thinking the G key will work, but it has abandoned me. So we'll click here. Click here. Not too bad. Pretty solid. Okay. And again, this leaves us, if it's going to be a player area, this leaves us to have some vertex painting. Now, we probably don't need that edge per se. Like, we could go all the way down and just keep that as a thin triangle. But I left it open so that if we needed to add more to it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second, you can actually make your polygons have sharper angles if you want. So that's actually an even quad. So we're going to hit the, can't hit the G key, crap. All right, so we go here, here, enter. Oh, still doesn't work. Here and here. And here and here. Curse you, G key. Here and here. Enter. All right, so the extra edges allow me to do more of our vertex painting. Now I can even eliminate these guys. Notice I did an extra step. That's just based on what I select. So if I grab a hard angle versus just the solid edge, notice that, there we go. Cool. So we built our archway. Now this could actually be a facade. I can grab this guy and just push him into a piece of geometry, blacken this out, or make the door closed if I want to. So he's pretty straight up, all ready to go. Now if you wanted to make a secondary piece to push into him, I would make it probably separate, and you can do that by simply grabbing a piece of geometry and running a bend deformer, which you saw me show you before, and you can do it under nonlinear bend. So there's multiple ways to approach this. Now it's mainly just what your poly count is. Now if this isn't a key piece of geometry, this isn't going to be something that's important. What you can do is, let's go and grab this guy here. I'm going to grab, let's say we have less polys to work with. Again, I'm just showing you guys theory here. Every scenario is not the same. So if somebody tells you there's absolutes in video games, they're retarded. There's never absolutes when it comes to your poly count. Now there are absolutes based on each engine, but each engine is different. So you can't say one thing's going to work better here than another, because sometimes it just depends on the engine. Unity is not built equal like UDK and Crytek. All right, so we're going to delete edge vertex there and say that's all we have to work with. Not that difficult, believe it or not, but this is where the triangles come into play. So we go in here, excuse me, I get emotional when I model sometimes, please forgive me. And I go over here, I'm just kidding, frog in the throat. Click here and enter. And do the same thing over here. So click here, here, grab the edge and enter, and then grab here. There we go. Cool. So you guys get an idea. So again, it's what you need. And again, leaving these edges in here allows you to do some vertex painting, which is never a bad thing. Never. Especially if it's a close-up model. Now, stuff in the background, you can also have some vertex painting, but it's going to be limited because it's lower poly. It's just logic. You don't want to waste the space. Mainly, it's going to be focused more on textures from far away. But up close, vertex painting can work out pretty cool. It can be pretty awesome. All right, that's about it with this one. For more modularization, I just wanted to relate the idea of how to work with the gun to a building facade. And you can make a whole different bunch of these, and you can do Control D. And as you make each one, texture it differently, vertex paint it differently, which we'll get into later, and build archways and details and decals and stuff like that. All right, that's it.